Hello and welcome back to another video. So today I did want to talk a bit about how the views of the Pokemon investing community seem to be changing a little bit. But before that, I do have a bit of mail that's come in today. So I thought I'd open this first and see how it looks. Hopefully it's a real card. I definitely did not need another one of these, but I saw this one listed for a low price and then the seller reduced it. And then I offered an even lower price on it and then the seller accepted. So I do have another Urshifu VMAX. And this is an altart VMAX. These are not easy to pull, although there's only 2 of them in battlestyles. So a little bit easier to get them from battlestyles. We'll get the individual one from battlestyles. This is also one of the 15 swords from the Sword and Shield era. And it looks to be in nice condition. So yeah, very happy to add this to my collection of Urshifu that I do not need, but regardless. So yeah, I have noticed recently there's been a shift in mindset of people posting in the Pokemon investing Reddit. Just something I always love to watch human nature and human thought, human collective thought. And for years now, the collective opinion, or the dominant opinion has been that you just buy a modern steel product at under MSRP, you wait 5 years, and then you sell it for profit. But recently there's been this shift where, I think possibly because you just can't get booster boxes now for under MSRP. In fact, you're paying like twice or 3 times MSRP if you're buying the most recent, the most hyped up products. The days of just cheap boxes aren't really there anymore. And so I think people have been looking for alternative investments, but still within Pokemon. And so obviously we had all the illustration red boom last year, all that going up. But the dominant opinion has still remained through that time last year. Just invest in modern sealed, maybe modern singles. If you have a PSA 10, could be good, but mostly just modern sealed. But I think possibly a catalyst for this has been the Gold Star boom. So if you go back 2 years ago, you can pick up most of the Gold Stars for a pretty decent price. They've always been expensive and well favored, especially the last few years, but for whatever reason, over the last year, they've really taken off, and they've gone, in the last few months, they've just gone parabolic. And especially some of the most popular ones, like Rayquaza, Charizard, Mew. I think I heard recently a private deal where the Rayquaza went for like 45,000 in a 9, which is pretty insane. Some of them, like the Torchic, which is really hard to grade, have been going for like over 100,000 in a 10. Just crazy prices. And now I've seen a shift in mentality from some of the Poke investing crew where there's been more and more people buying vintage as an investment. Whereas previously people would always say, vintage has had its price accumulation, vintage is never going to go up much anymore. You're more likely to double your price on a modern 10 than you are for vintage, which is a bit of a logical fallacy, I think, that theory. Not that I have any idea what will be the best investment, but I just think it's interesting how it started to shift a bit. And now more and more people have been thinking about vintage as an investment. So obviously that has some ramifications. If that trend continues, we could see especially high graded vintage cards start to increase in price significantly. And these cards, unlike modern cards where if you have a 9 or a 10, there's like a billion other 9s and 10s out there, especially the most popular ones. Some of the vintage cards are incredibly low population in those high grades, and there could be a massive spike in some of those prices. Some of like EX Era, Neo especially, some of them are really hard to grade. Neo Unlimited cards, even like the early WotC sets, even some like level X's, full arts from like Black and White. These are all really low population cards that could see a substantial increase in buying pressure. Now, the thing that might stop this from happening too much is just the price. There's a difference from buying like a PSA 10 modern altart for $200 and then like $1,000 vintage PSA 10. And as the values go up, the sort of intro investor is much less likely to get involved. So some of those items can be at higher prices, can be a bit less sensitive to price action. But correspondingly, it only takes a little bit to push them a lot. So that's really all my thoughts for now. I just think it's so interesting how these things change, how the way cards are perceived changes, how right now no one cares about this Urshifu, but who knows what the feelings will be like in 10 years time, in 20 years time, in 30 years time. No one knows. And it's fun to see it evolve, to see thought evolve, especially when you don't have any stake really. But that's all I've got for today. Let me know what your thoughts are. What do you think about investing in vintage graded cards or just vintage single cards in general? And thanks for watching.